hate plain yogurt, and now I make plain yogurt. That's mainly what I eat every day. So,
Can I say
but-
something?
yeah.
There is a sadness to this, because I used to adore chocolate, and I can't stand it now.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
Oh, I'd
great.
like to get to that point.
Like
So you're mourning
I'm
right
so
now.
sad because I
still
want to
chocolate
have
addicted,
that feeling
dark
of
chocolate.
eating my chocolate, and I don't.
Yeah.
But
So-
your tastes do change.
Oh, but I
And
love
there's
it,
certain
like you
things-
said.
Yeah.
Find me
Yeah.
a sweet potato,
Yeah.
and it's better than chocolate.
That's so
Yeah,
sweet.
look, I heard that dark chocolate, that the cacao, whatever, is supposed to be good for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I
Correct.
ate before, but now I
Yeah.
eat it, and it's like eating
She
sweet.
still
I
doesn't
do
like
have a
it now.
small piece of dark chocolate.
Yeah.
It's awful.
All right, so,
Very
I'm the muffin lady, I guess. Because as soon as we talked about what we were making, they were all like, you can make muffins. So I do make muffins a lot. If we're going out to do, like, we'll go to a lecture or something some days, and I'll make muffins to take in the car.
Yeah.
So I made a blueberry lemon muffin, and I made, because I had some leftover pumpkin in my refrigerator, I made pumpkin muffins as well. So for the person who's talking about baking, so these are made oil-free. And if egg is called for, which I think it was called for in them, I use flax, so you can mix flaxseed with water and you let it sit for a little bit, and it actually gets like a gelatin consistency, and that can replace eggs in your baking. And then the oil is replaced with applesauce. So honestly, I go to VJ's, I buy the little cups of applesauce that comes six in a thing, and I get so many of them. And then I just pull one of those up, it's a third of a cup, and I just use that when I bake. So I got up this morning and I was like, oh, I gotta bake muffins for today. And I was able to bake both of those in about 35 minutes. And now I have, if I were at home, I would have muffins, I'd throw them in the freezer and I'd have them for the week. So I grab a couple when I'm leaving for work, and that, serves as my breakfast, maybe with some fruit. So it's quick, you can batch them, so you can throw them in your freezer, and they're good.
But you would add fruit with it.
I would add fruit to
Or
it because
yogurt.
a muffin
Muffin's
isn't
not
for
enough.
me. That's not enough to fill me up. I'd probably eat 2, and then some fruit.
How do you sweeten it with the applesauce?
The applesauce sweetens it. I think one of them does call for like coconut sugar or the brown sugars. Sometimes some recipes use dates. Some recipes use maple syrup.
Yeah.
Date syrup
The idea,
also.
and date syrup.
There's probably
brown
muffin
rice syrup,
recipes
I think,
in that
also
book.
is a sweeter syrup.
And
Yeah.
What?
you don't
I
even
don't
have
use
to
that
remember
brown rice
these
syrup.
substitutions.
No,
If you
no.
just Google
Yeah.
whole food plant-based muffin recipe,
Yeah.
Ton.
thousands.
Oh my gosh, so
Yeah.
many copies.
Oh, yeah.
But I did make,
Too
I
many.
made, I think I made 10 copies of the 2 recipes that I brought here.
I'll take a picture of it.
So those are 2 ideas.
All right, you go next?
Next.
All right, I made some healthy, whole food, plant-based pancakes. Only 3 ingredients, red banana, soy milk, and rolled oats. In the blender,
Really?
cook them like regular pancakes, no oil in the pan. They're sweet on their own because they have banana, but you also can add a little maple syrup. A few of them I threw in a few blueberries, but then I ran out of blueberries, so I'll show you what they look like. You guys can try them. They're probably not hot anymore. They look just like regular pancakes. They're fluffy, delicious.
And if
rolled up,
if you have a waffle maker, you can also throw that into a waffle maker.
The same recipe?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jen,
Yes.
was it
Oh, I
rolled
didn't know
oats
that.
or was it oat flour?
Rolled oats,
Rolled oats.
yeah, in the blender.
But when you put them in the blender, it'll make them
You can use any kind of plant milk that you want.
So really, those don't take any longer than if you have the box of pancake mix, right? You still have to add 2 or 3 things to it.
Right.
So those are just as quick.
No eggs, no oil, no dairy.
Yes.
They're
They look
delicious.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They look fantastic.
Yeah.
So I went down the yogurt rabbit hole. And so I have Siggy's and soy and silk. There are so many dairy yogurts out there. And then, without realizing it, I ended up buying, I went to different stores, so I wasn't paying attention. These are mush oats, vanilla bean flavored, so it's oatmeal and almond milk that's already in a container. So it's it's like if you're doing overnight oats and making it yourself, they've actually made stuff with it. And then the other rabbit hole I went down that we will get to are the ingredients that are in the different yogurts, and how much salt you want, how much fat you want, how much sugar. And so some of them have added sugar, some of them don't have added sugar, but they've got more salt because they don't have the added sugar. So this is again one of those transition foods that you can start, if you like yogurt, you can start with a plant-based yogurt, get used to the flavor, again, adding fruit, adding granola, adding whatever to make it taste good. But then eventually you want to work towards, this is a yogurt that was made in an Instant Pot, just using.
Successful yet.
Oh, chocolate.
Terry is an expert.
You are too. So this is a soy milk that has nothing but soybeans and water. And you can make a yogurt out of it, so it doesn't have any added sugar, no added salt, nothing added to it, that's all it is. But again, it's an acquired taste, and what Terry's done here is added some fruit to it. You could add maple syrup, but again, you're controlling what you're adding to the yogurt. Where the ones in here that you can buy already made are, you don't have control other than which one you pick. But the thought was that we could open these and people could take a bowl and take a spoonful and try different ones to see how it tastes.
So this is a transitional time for most of you. So, like you said, mentioned going down the rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Like I do it all the time too, but just keep it simple and just buy whatever plant milk yogurt you want to buy.
Want to try.
Yeah, that Instant Pot, doing it yourself, that's down the road.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
more that might be where you're headed if you're gonna be pure.
Right.
But these are still gonna be
Delicious.
better than getting a Dannon yogurt that's made out of dairy.
And sugar.
Yeah. Really good.
But the nice thing when you do get to make it in your Instant Pot is you put it in the Instant Pot, you walk away for 10 hours, and you come back and it's made, and it's enough for, you can make as much as you want. I usually make 2 containers of it, and it lasts me 2 weeks.
I have to get the recipe.
So.
Yeah, so in the cost effective, that
Yeah.
jar of milk was $2, not even,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
a week's
these were
worth
like
of yogurt.
$2 each.
Right,
that's
right.
So the
That
other
wheat
thing
one's
with the yogurt
expensive.
is you wanna watch,
Oh my goodness.
if
Yeah.
it's your protein
That's
source, you
expensive.
wanna watch the protein on it, cause like the coconut milk yogurt might have 0 protein in it, whereas
Yeah.
the silk yogurt has 11.
Right.
Again, it's a matter of what you're looking for. If you're worried about protein, if you're worried about your salt intake, your sugar intake, eventually you'll get to a point where my blood pressure's high, I'm worried about salt, you know.
Alright, so I did, my breakfast is convenience. You can make oatmeal, batch cook oatmeal for the week, and I put it in a little, like Eileen, a little bit of cup, and I have one every day. Or you can take regular rolled oats and make them overnight oats, and take them out every morning with cold, or heat them up, add fruit to it. This is a little cereal mix that I make that I add to my yogurt. It's my granola. It's called Rip's Bowl. I made the recipe right here for you. He's a plant-strong influencer. It has Cheerios, Raisin Bran, grape nuts.
It's awesome, cause the variety makes it
Yeah.
so interesting.
Yeah, and it's filling.
Yeah.
And then I also grabbed some cereal boxes to show you that there is clean eating cereal.
Could have those?
Yes, of course. This is just shredded wheat, and this is oats. You could not have just this. You want to add some fruit to it. And you want to
Right.
fill it up. You can have a muffin with
And
it.
then you could have it with, what, the almond milk it had?
Yeah,
Or
what else?
soy
Almond
milk or
milk,
what else?
anything.
Oat milk.
What else would you add to cereal? What do you normally add? Bananas. Cereal. Bananas.
Can you add a scoop of like almond butter, or is that ruin it?
No, actually, you could do that with yogurt too, yeah. You could do that.
So technically,
You're just craving, because your body's not getting the nutrients it needs. Your body wants you to eat. And the more junk you're putting in, your body just says, we need more, because there's no nutrients in the food. So, the stew, I guess, made the difference.
It certainly did.
Yeah.
Because,
Yeah.
and you're going on a year, and I am not kidding, my sister and I
Yeah.
together.
Yeah, I love that story.
It's funny, I mean, it makes us seem like a pair of weirdos, but we're terrible eaters, we
Well, you're in
love
good
junk
company.
food.
But it's
I think we all feel like that at some.
Is
Yeah,
it something easy to make? You make it once a week, twice a week?
Oh, I make it because my sister is not a cook. I mean, she's that's another story. But and she tries to help, but her helping is like having a Polyworth help you. She's only a few years younger than I am. But I've got it down. I can make that stew so fast.
Yeah.
It's just the cooking time. It's like an hour.
But it's a stew, not a soup, so it's hearty.
It's really hearty, and
Yeah.
you can change out, you know,
Whatever you have on
put in,
hand.
like Jen had me put spinach in instead of something else because I
Yeah.
was having some muscle problem, and you could put cheese on it if you wanted to,
Yeah.
right?
Farro.
Farro,
Yeah, you
yeah,
can put
if you
whole
wanted
grain
to
on it,
put-
yeah.
I'll throw it on a baked potato.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of important areas of the chapter that we thought it would be good to go over. And do you want to talk about label reading?
Sure. So I'm
Terry's
gonna
gonna
pass
talk
this
about-
around, it's 2 pages, they're not stapled together, so I just put them every other way, so just grab it. The label reading description in the book is a little bit different because they have changed the way labels are written. And it used to be calories like that, or something like that.
It used to be calories and then percent of calories from fat.
Yeah, and they've changed it. Just because it's probably not a good example, so. But label reading is challenging. I think a lot of people struggle with label reading, right? So a couple of things to just, without going into too much detail. If you want to look at sodium, the sodium grams.
No, I just
You can, oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I'm all right now. The sodium grams should equal the calories. They shouldn't be 10 times the calories. So that's one way to know if something's good. Now, I ran into Stop and Shop this morning because I wanted to get a marinara sauce to put with tofu, and so I tried to find the best one. And the best one I could find is 70 calories for a serving, and it's 120 milligrams of sodium. So it's higher in sodium. It's not the best choice, but out of the choices, it was the best. And if I was eating this, I would just be very careful about the sodium I was eating any more of the day, okay? But that's the easiest one to me, is the sodium, right? Calories and grams should be the same, or grams. Okay?
So the sodium then on that should be 70, is that what you're saying?
Right, the sodium
Okay.
should be 70 or
Okay.
less. And even, actually, this one says low sodium, and I'm telling you, the other ones had like 300, 400 milligrams of sodium. If you pick up a soup container, the sodium is probably 10 times the calories. It's crazy, it's crazy.
What is the serving size of that, a tablespoon?
A half a cup.
A half, oh, well, that's
Yeah,
good then.
so it's a good amount, yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing, you always wanna look at what the serving size is for what they're saying. And then the other thing that, another thing that is easy to look at is your sugars. So it has total sugars, and then it has how much added sugar. So, you know, any of our fruits and vegetables have sugar in them. So if it has some sugar, but then it doesn't have any added sugar, then you know you're getting a natural, something that's natural. But you do wanna watch for how much added sugar. So this one does have 5 grams of sugar, but it has 0 added sugar. So that means, to me, all the sugar is in the tomatoes.
It's good to know.
And then, I think the trickiest one is fat. I don't know if you guys have a better way of doing fat. But what I look at, because now what it gives you on fat is it gives you the grams, and then it tells you the percent of the daily value. But what you really want to know is how much of this is fat. They used to tell you how much fat from calories was in this. But the easiest way to do it is fat has 4 calories per gram. So, is that right, 4?
9, doesn't it?
I'm sorry, 9, yeah. And when you listen to any of the experts, they say just use 10, it's easier. So if you say this has 4 grams of fat, times 10 would be 40 calories, and there's 70 calories per serving. So it's a lot of fat in the, per serving of
Oh,
this.
the 40 is,
40
40 is out of the 70, so,
Is fat.
wow.
You should shoot for no
Correct.
more than 15%
Right.
of the
Oh, okay.
calories from fat.
This says 20.
Oh, okay.
The thing that we
I
did
just took
from
what was
Jeff,
in the
yeah,
book.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and again, depends on who you listen to, right?
Yep.
So the Esselstyns have always said like 10%, I think.
Yeah.
They wanna keep it
They're
very
super
low,
fat.
and then as much as 20% of your calories from fat. So that to me is the trickiest one, because you actually have to calculate. You look at the grams, multiply by 10, and it should be no more than 10% of the calories, or 20%, however you wanna do it.
Can I just say one thing about marinara sauces?
Yes.
I really struggle in the store to find one. I'm looking for 2 things. No sugar added.
Yeah.
No oil.
Yeah.
They're really hard to find.
Yeah.
If you can find any. Recently I discovered, because there happened to be a supermarket that had a lot of different varieties of it, so it caught my eye. The very inexpensive Hunt's that comes in the can has no added sugar, and it has no oil.
Yeah.
And it's like $2.99.
And it's delicious.
And then you add
Where's
spices
that?
to it, right? You can add whatever you want to it.
It's a
Sometimes
canned
onions and mushrooms.
sauce.
Yeah.
Is it a
It's
sauce,
delicious.
or is it a sauce, or is it
No, it's
just
it's-
tomatoes?
it's the
No, it's
tomato
sauce. It's in the section where the jarred sauces are,
Oh, okay.
but it comes in a can.
Oh,
So you almost don't even notice it.
right.
Yeah.
It's been there forever.
It's been there forever. Yeah. It's just very simple ingredients. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how my husband makes our spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
He puts all
It's
the
always better to-
individual ingredients
yeah.
in.
It's always better to make your own, but if you have to buy it in the store, that's usually the
Well,
one.
we make it, put it in a big jar, goes
Yeah.
in the fridge.
I usually
Right.
make mine too, but.
So you
make that as a
I didn't have
base?
any, so I.
What?
You use that as a base.
Yeah.
You use
Yeah,
that as a
yeah,
base.
they can do with mushrooms,
Yep.
whatever you
And
want.
it's
Right.
not like Hunt's tomato sauce,
No.
it's the Hunt's pasta.
Spaghetti sauce or
It might be
pasta.
I'm trying to
spaghetti
find
sauce.
it on the website, so
Yeah.
I could share it.
So the other thing you wanna just do is look at the ingredients quickly, right? And you don't want any of the, bad foods for you to be in the first few ingredients. If it's way towards the, so they list ingredients by how much of it is in this. So for example, in this it lists the tomatoes, tomatoes in juice, onions, and then the third one is olive oil. So it does have a decent amount of oil in it, and then your spices. But it doesn't have any preservatives in it, it doesn't have any other stuff in it. To me, if you can't read it and pronounce it, I would probably put it in my body. So I do try to buy things that don't have those things in them. And then the other thing is, if you are, condiments tend to be very high in sodium, but if you're using just a small amount, you can, kind of disregard the whole sodium so it's okay to have it as long as you're just having a small amount. If you put a little ketchup on your plate to use, that's fine. If you pour ketchup on your food, that's not fine.
Make sure that's the one Jen was talking about.
So I really just wanted that to be simple, because to me it can get very complicated. And to me, those are the 3 main things to look at: your fat, your sugar, and your sodium. All
There was also a section in there about cleaning out your pantry. It's very explanatory, so I won't go into it in detail. But what came to mind to me when I read it was just the Chef AJ quote that just says, if it's in your house, it's in your mouth. So just keep that in mind.
And it is true, I don't know if you guys.
If you're craving something and you have to get in your car and go out and get the thing, whatever it is, you're just more likely to not eat it. So just get
That's
it
the
out.
only thing I would leave the house for at 10 degrees at night was ice cream.
Yeah.
I had to have ice cream in my refrigerator. Not anymore, I stopped last September, I haven't had since September.
Nice.
But I wouldn't, I
Yeah.
go out any time of the night to get ice cream. But I know what you mean, if it's not in the house, it's not in your mouth. is that
Right.
the expression?
No, it's.
If it's in your
If
house,
it's in your mouth, I wanna write that
It's in your
down.
house, it's in your mouth. That's right.
I don't buy cookies.
Write it right in your book.